welcome to the Dragonfly Cutter Podcast. I'm your host, Soul, here with your other host. Introduce yourself.
Dante the Scribe.
Dante the Scribe. Now we got a couple of topics we want to talk about with y'all today. The first one is state of hip hop. You want to start it or should I?
I can start it. So I guess to talk about the state of hip hop, we gotta start with a question. And I guess a good way to bridge into it is to talk about in the current state of hip hop. Do you feel like the music is in a better place than it's been in the past, or in a worse place, or somewhere in between?
Right. I feel you. I don't know. Honestly, that's kind of I think it's all about perspective, honestly. I don't know.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the sounds we got right now. We got, the Atlanta trap sound.
Of course.
We got Blueface on the West Coast trying to spearhead some kind of something. We still got East Coast stuff, but it's more like Sheck West and like Mo Bamba and shit like that.
Joey.
Yeah, Joey. But Joey's not dropping shit like out there like he used to,
I feel
It's
you.
been years, 3 years?
Yeah.
Since he dropped an album, or 2 years. I personally, I guess, I feel like it's in a good place, but I do also feel like it's missing something. It's missing maybe this dedication to craftsmanship. And a lot of people will argue with me on that.
For sure.
Because, I mean, like, it is kind of craftsmanship, having different kinds of melodies and shit like that. It's not easy to do that. But I do think there is, like, a missing sense of duty in hip-hop.
For sure.
If that makes sense to you.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like people are just, like, making music just to make music. They're not, like, the passion isn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the craftsmanship isn't there. It's just what's lit, what's going to put us on.
Right.
What trends is popping, you know what I'm saying? It's not really like, this is my art. I'm cultivating my art. I'm perfecting my art. And I'm, like, showing my art to the world. It's more just...
Yeah, and I wonder if that's why, especially now, why we see like such high idolization of artists like Lil Peep and like X.
Right.
And even Mac Miller to some extent. Like what they were dropping was very much like everything they had accumulated in their life.
Right.
Oops. And I mean, so I guess like it's not gone. I guess they're gone. But I guess it's not gone really, but it's definitely harder to find than it once was.
For sure. And honestly, bro, I feel like music is always going to evolve because people's mindsets are always going to evolve. There's always going to be new melodies. There's always going to be a new era. Like, music is always going to change. And honestly, at this point, it's speeding up. Like, the sound of music changes, like, every fucking 3 to 5 years. Like, oh, this is the wave. This is the wave. This is the wave. So... honestly, bro, I think it's just gonna keep evolving, bro. Like, whether it's good or bad is subjective. Like, that's opinion based. But I don't know. I feel like we heading in a pretty good direction. Like, I feel like X stirs some shit up. Like, how many artists fucking rap, metal, rock, like.
Yeah, and a lot of people though say, because people is heavily on the emo rap shit, the singing the rock style.
Right.
And a lot of people say with them gone, it's dead.
Right.
And I mean, that's why we see these new, like we see Blueface trying to put a mark on.
Yep.
Comethazine a little bit, trying to make his own style. Who's the other one? Oh, YNW Melly.
Yep,
He's like,
for sure, yep.
And what's weird to me is YNW Melody. He to me sounds a lot like with his singing voice, he sounds like Chance the Rapper or like Dram.
Yeah.
But it's like a totally different style of content though.
Definitely darker. But Chance kind of had that darker kind of feel too. Like,
but
was it really
more
singing? Like, was he kind of singing on acid rap, or was it more just rapping? Because I know what you mean. Because if you make that comparison, I'll say he's like the darker Chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, he sings like him, but it's like the lyrics are like a lot darker.
Yeah, the lyrics are almost like drill lyrics or some shit.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, some shit that
Like he's saying some crazy
Tekashi
shit
would
to be
write.
saying in the melody. Like
Right, exactly.
like that murder on
Um
my mind shit was crazy.
yeah, and I mean like that's kind of I guess it's kind of strange in itself how that works. Cuz it's like two current sounds that already exist and it's like evolved into one.
Right.
I think we were talking yesterday about uh like Memphis rap and how those sounds existed, and they say a lot of the sounds that existed in Memphis rap were pulled in to make the Atlanta sound a
For
thing.
sure. For sure.
So I guess yeah, it really goes back to what you were saying. Like hip hop's just gonna always be evolving regardless. The state of it's just hard to put a claim on, I guess.
Okay. I think I found the real argument in that, honestly. It just popped into my head. I think the real argument is if, or at least for me personally, is if it's bettering the people or hurting the people. Like, is what's popular, is what trending, is that helping people? Is that uplifting people? Is it like motivating people to be better people, to think on a higher level, or is it just a bunch of dumb shit that's like, and it's not
Yeah.
even really necessarily dumb shit, because even the quote unquote dumb shit it has its place. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like ignorance has its place. Like drill
Right.
music has its place. Like,
Right.
nigga, when I'm mad or I'm getting into some shit, bro, 9 times out of 10 I'm listening to some fucking hard ass shit that's like that's how I feel. So quote unquote bullshit. But I think it's just about, is it helping people or if it's hurting people, honestly. And I feel like
Right.
music has the power to do both, but it's like in the current state that we're in, can we look at these artists and look at the music that's out and determine whether or not, okay, this is helping people or if it's hurting them?
Yeah. So how do you feel about that? Do you feel like
Honestly, I feel like we're hurting more than healing, or like more than evolving.
I
We're
feel
just-
like I feel like
we're
the
either
mainstream
stagnant or just not.
I feel like the
progressing.
mainstream and the songs that are popping are kind of like generally negative. I feel like they're not all negative, but generally there's a negative vibe.
For sure.
I don't know if that's because of artists like Drake, preaching about all their problems, but doing it in a very like wallowing in their self pity kind of essence,
Right.
or if it's just like because of how the world is currently. There's like a lot of like we're at higher depression rates than we've ever been at.
Facts.
And I don't know like why it is, but whatever is popping up in the mainstream and getting the most plays seems to be negative more times than not.
For sure. And honestly, that's a deeper conversation to have, because then it's like, what's being promoted and why is it being promoted? You know what I'm saying? That goes back to the age old, why do people who rap about gun violence blow up faster than somebody who's talking about helping people, revolutionizing? That's even a word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Something else, and this will be like kind of a good segue into our next topic, but
Okay.
one thing I've noticed is like very specifically, especially in the SoundCloud scene, especially in like the Instagram rap scene, it's like there's so many of these, and there's so many, especially like white kids that just dye their hair like a Lil Uzi or like a Lil Yachty,
Right.
and get the shortcut, like the mimic. It almost like mimics dreads, but it's like not dreaded out, but it has the same.
I know
look.
what you mean. It has the same texture of it. Yeah.
And then they make the style of music that Peep was making and X was making, especially right now. They make that,
Hell yeah.
and it's like, is there a problem with that? And is that negative? Because I mean, the state of hip hop too. Like looking at it as a whole, generally has been, and it still is, I would say, but generally it's been like black artists pushing the waves.
For sure.
We're getting a lot of these white artists trying to push the waves. And like, that it's a fine line that they toe, because that's easily, becomes the same story as jazz.
Right.
I mean, it becomes the, oh,
Yeah.
all of a
Definitely.
sudden white people overtook it. We might be past that as a nation now, as like a community, just because. I mean, I'm not gonna say we're fully past it,
We're definitely not.
but also at the same time though, shit isn't like it used to be. It wasn't
For sure.
like all white people take this and then black people don't fuck with it anymore, or black people take this so white people don't fuck with it.
Right.
It's a lot of integration in it.
For sure.
I mean, I guess we'll just bring it up. You know, there's a big talk right now about Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying she's pretty much culturally appropriating, you know, to put the technical term to it.
Right.
She's got the 90s sound, sort of. She has a lot of pop sound too, but she kind of mimics the Mariah Carey sound or like the Aaliyah type of, you know, like the feel good R&B type of shit.
I know what you mean.
And you know, right now I'm seeing a lot of people pretty much not fucking with her.
Right.
I've been seeing comparisons of her to that, you know, that one girl who was the leader of the NAACP and she's a white girl. And like, you didn't hear about that?
Nah.
This was like a few years ago, bro. The leader of the NAACP was a white woman who got perms in her hair and got spray tans. And everybody thought she was black, and she told everybody she was black.
I think I seen that. I think I know what you're talking about.
And
I didn't know she was the like ahead of like the NCAA.
And NAACP, yeah.
That's crazy.
Man, her name's like Rachel.
They was
something.
clowning her.
People
was
keep
clowning.
comparing, you know, Ariana Grande to her, and I gotta say, like, I see it
For sure.
to some extent. I don't know if that's
So, bro, like,
now. Speaking on that, I feel like we have a lot of people, like, back to Ariana Grande. Like, I don't know her as a person. I don't really know much about her.
Neither
I
do I.
don't really research shit about her.
me either.
But at the end of the day, like, she could be totally unenthused with that type of thinking,
Right.
not really in that line at all. But then the label could be pushing that shit
For sure.
subliminally, and she might even have no
sure.
idea.
For sure.
And that's an even harder topic to address, because it's like, how do we keep the labels in check? Because the labels, regardless of who was making what music, the labels have always been in the background.
Facts. Facts.
Bro, it's like jazz musicians were signed to Atlantic. Like, you know, same with Motown artists. Same with fucking pretty much every genre of music since record labels started. Those labels are still around.
And you wanna know what's funny, bro? People rarely attack the labels. And that goes to like a bigger, deeper conversation of cultural appropriation, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really, and even if it is the artist, it's not really so much the artist, bro. It's the powerhouses, it's the labels. Like
Mm-hmm.
you said, she could have good intentions, but if the label is trying to push for a certain image, then that's what's going to be portrayed. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right. On
exactly,
an individual.
how do we keep the labels in check? I feel like we keep the labels in check by not signing, bro. We give them power by signing to them, bro. Like, we get put inside 360 deals. I understand people have certain situations where they might be homeless. They really ain't got no way out, so
Right.
they have to sign. That's the only way to fucking start them. That's the only way to
But-
money. But it's
And
just
it's like, is the labels targeting those people? Like,
targeting what people?
targeting people who are homeless, or like, who are
Definitely,
like,
bro.
who have
People-
no other option.
Bro, people who are desperate are more easy to control. Because it's
That's
like,
truthful.
if I just got done fucking eating and somebody came up and said, bro, I'll give you a burger to fucking run across traffic, run across the street while the fucking street is busy as hell with traffic, I'll give you a free burger, but I'm not gonna, what the fuck, bro?
Right.
But if somebody been starving, he like, bro, I'll give you a free cheeseburger, bro. Just run across the street with all them cars. If you're that hungry, bro, you're gonna be like, I'm just gonna take my chance, bro.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'm gonna cross this street and get this cheeseburger.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that is very much like the mentality. Is yeah, I'm gonna take my chances. You know, Bruno Mars was even homeless.
Yep. The Weeknd too.
The Weeknd, yeah. Anderson .Paak,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, he has it in a song. He talks about it, but like many, and that's the thing though, is that it becomes this uplifting story to people. Like, people read about it and they're like, "Oh my God, like, he persevered through all of this, and they give all this like credit to the artist for persevering through it. And it's like, a lot of times they do persevere through it and they are strong through it, but then also you have this other end of the token where it's like, okay, they persevered till the label noticed them and was like, here's $1 million, do whatever we want. And it's like, I'm not blaming them for it, but it's like, is it as much of a they persevered or the label saw their weakness and attacked it? And I feel like sometimes it is like the label just taking advantage of these people who are desperate.
For sure, bro. That's why a lot of people get inside 360 deals, honestly. And this is not a good idea for me to say this, because if we start, blowing up, we're gonna get a lot of flack for it. But it's kind of like, bro, it's the same thing that Drake does, bro. When he made The Weeknd get his nigga his whole album to make Take Care, bro. Like,
right.
If you're desperate enough, you're gonna do whatever to get in that situation. But at the same time, I feel like accountability has to be on both parties. It has to be on the artist and it has to be on the label, because you have to. The label has to take accountability for the fact that they're taking advantage of somebody who's desperate and just looking for a way out. But the artist also has to have integrity to not sell themselves short. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's hard. I come from fucking hard situations, but it's like, if you have integrity through that shit, it's so much more rewarding, because then you're not selling yourself short. You're not selling your people short. And I feel like you're doing what you need to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I feel like that is something that a lot of people struggle with.
Right.
So we're talking about like these labels targeting artists, and kind of brings Joey's tweet to mind. If you guys haven't read it, Joey Badass tweeted that he believes that the government is like deliberately targeting artists, rappers, to pretty much either ruin their what is it? Is it more like killing them literally, or is it like,
honestly, bro, I think it's both. I think they're just
putting them in jail.
They're just being targeted, bro. And like, the hip hop police is a real thing, especially in New York. Them niggas is real. The hip hop police will come get your ass out of here.
I heard about that 2 Chainz party when he did his release party.
Yep.
They fucked his shit up.
But he more so said that after the whole situation with 21 Savage being arrested by ICE. He put out the tweet saying that we're being deliberately targeted. And I think it makes sense, bro. Like, just
6ix9ine, X. I mean, X's murder was maybe his cousin, but you don't know. You really don't know.
You never know.
They could have assassinated him.
Exactly.
Right out.
Yeah.
And what I was gonna I had something in my mind. I can't remember now.
So how do you feel about the tweet? Like, do you feel like artists are being targeted?
Totally. Like, especially rappers, especially young black rappers, because
for sure,
I feel very firmly in my heart that today's rappers are yesterday's poets, are yesterday's public speakers.
Facts.
Today's rappers are yesterday's Black Panthers.
That's a fact.
Facts, bro. It's too big. It's too big now for it not to be.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know there's still like political groups. That's why I feel like we see the mainstream being pushed away from that direction, is because, especially in the 90s, you know, like Pac being one of the biggest revolutionaries was like top of the fucking, he was the cream of the crop. He was dropping the hottest records. He was getting the most plays.
He was the Drake of the 90s.
Yeah, straight up. He was the Drake of the 90s. and the government was like, fuck that.
Right, especially with the message that he had, bro. And it's funny because you would notice, and I don't know, maybe I'm just fucking conspiracy theorist guy, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people were talking about how 21's been arrested on several occasions. His visa's been expired for a while now. He actually put in an application to have his visa renewed.
Couple years ago.
But they didn't come get him until the Tonight Show, where he talked about the Flint water and
he talked about
the border wall. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just conspiracy theorist guy, but I believe shit. Like, it has something to do with it, bro. It's like, shut your mouth, bro. Like,
well, and it's like X all of a sudden drops dead after he starts trying to focus on
bringing
positivity to the world.
Exactly, and that's that shit I'm talking about, bro. Even if it was just a random robbing, bro. Like, and that's a deeper conversation to have. It's just there's something about this world that like when you're like on some positive shit,
Negativity
some
just
kind of
comes for you.
entity is trying to end that shit,
Something.
bro. Something is trying to end that.
Yeah, whether that be people in the comments, whether that be people in
Facts.
high up places, low places, it doesn't matter. Um, I totally agree. I know Joey specifically has felt that very firsthand. I mean, Malia Obama, we can't forget about her wearing the pro era shirt, and then Joey said, "My house was bugged immediately after.
Facts.
Motherfuckers with suits were at my house,
Facts.
like because of the shit Steve said,
Yep.
long ago."
Yeah, bro. I think, damn, I shouldn't even brought this up because I don't know if this is 100% quotable, but no, it is quotable because I remember Snoop Dogg and who was it? They made the song about Trump. He said Social Security
Fuck
came.
Donald Trump.
I don't
that
want to say
wasn't
fuck.
Snoop, was it?
That wasn't Snoop, but he made some song about Donald Trump. What it was he had a video where he had somebody dressed as Donald Trump, and I think like he had him tied up, where he had like a gun to his head. Basically,
Oh, I heard about that.
he said the Secret Services, bro, like showed up on his door. Like
Yeah,
that shit ain't no joke, bro. Like these niggas is out here.
I mean, I also here's the other thing. I was listening to another podcast actually. It's called How Stuff Works or Stuff They Don't Want You to Know.
Stuff
That's
They
what it's
Don't Want
called.
You to
It's
Know.
by How Stuff Works, and they
Yeah.
do like a iHeartRadio collaboration.
Oh, that's dope. I didn't know they was that big.
Yeah, they're dope. But if if you don't listen to them and you like conspiracies and you like knowing whether they're true or not, great channel or great podcast. But they were talking about specifically like the podcast was about early American espionage.
Okay.
And they were talking about how like the Revolutionary War era espionage system was and still is one of the most advanced espionage systems of all time. There was motherfuckers that were spies that George Washington didn't know who they were.
That's
Didn't know
crazy.
their name, and he didn't want to know their name because the less people that know, the better. And I mean, like, that's crazy. And also, that's still the government we have. And they're not gonna lose their power. You know what I mean? Like they're not that like they fought tooth and nail for this shit.
Facts.
They're not gonna just give that shit up.
Facts. And I'm glad that you said that because when people ask, like, and honestly, this is a good segue into the next topic about the state of the country. Honestly, how I feel about the state of the country is that I feel like nothing has really changed. I feel like the bad conditions that we're in hasn't improved that much. And it goes back to what you were saying, that the same government that was in place then is in place now.
Right.
The same structure, how they deal with problems, how they move fucking policies and laws around. They switch the laws every fucking couple years. It's the same system.
Right.
Since slavery, bro. Like, since this country was low-key first founded, bro. Like, it's being run exactly the same.
Exactly the same. And that's the thing is and we see it now, hardcore. These people on social media, tweet hashtag this to stop, this senator or, tweet this to call out this racist or what.
Right, and that ain't doing shit.
It's not shit because they give you an inch and they take a mile.
Exactly.
And they give you that inch to make you think you're making progress.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be the other way around, but and I mean like it's a genius system. It's like
It's definitely a genius system. What's wrong with the system, and we're going to get a lot of hate for this because niggas love politics.
right, they do.
But the thing we need to do, bro, we need to get these people out of position. It's the people, bro. It's not really the system. And honestly, I've been listening to like a lot of XXXTentacion like interviews and vlogs, and he said something that honestly like sparked my mind, bro. And that's where I'm coming from with this sentiment is that nothing is really wrong with the system, bro. It's the people. Like, if we get these people out of place, then we're good.
Right.
Get the right people in position. But the thing is, it's so fucking... They have their people in position so concrete that it's like, how do you breach that wall?
Right.
How do you actually get somebody in position to do something positive?
And they have such a reach over society because it's been centuries of the same mentality.
Exactly.
And they have such a reach over it that it's like you have to reach even higher than them, get to society, then take them out of office.
Exactly.
And I mean, even so, it's only 100, 200 years before the same shit happens.
Right.
You gotta find a way to set it up so that all of society thinks a certain way, and when things move, it keeps moving in the same direction because everybody's on the same page, and that's hard, and that's almost impossible, I would say.
Almost impossible, definitely. Because if we do that, that means us as a society, us as a country has to mature. Like, everybody has to be on the same level. All right, we're tired of the corrupt shit. We're going to put some people in position, and we're going to protect those people, and we're going to do what we need to do to get this shit moving. But there's so many people who's selfish. There's so many people who's immature mentally that they don't even know how to grasp that concept, bro.
Right.
Like they're not mature enough. We're not mature enough as a society to have a good society. We prosper off negativity.
Right.
We might never have that, bro.
We might never.
Because that's so many people, bro. Like, imagine trying to change people's mindset just in your neighborhood alone. You know how hard that is to change.
How much of an accomplishment it would be just in your neighborhood, too.
So imagine a fucking country. Imagine the world, bro.
World,
like,
yeah.
That mean, yeah, you're right. That may never happen.
And I mean, I don't know if it needs to happen, also. I don't know if everything has to be perfect, but...
No, definitely not perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect.
If you're fighting for something slightly better, you're fighting for something important.
Right.
And it's not like, I don't know, and that's part of what they do with the inch thing. Like, it's like they tell these people, oh, put these people in office, they'll do a little bit of good with these laws passed within the system. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's cool. You know, that's cool, and it's good that it makes people feel good, I guess, to some extent, but also it's not real. It's not as tangible. Well, I guess it is tangible. People don't think long term. They think about what they can have right now.
Yeah. They're not able to perceive into the future.
Right. And they're told, oh, this will help in the long term. And it's like, well.
And it never does, bro.
It never does.
It never does. They're like, we're going to pass this policy. We're going to pass this law. This is going to stop the drugs. This is going to stop gang violence. This is going to stop this. This is going to stop that. You know what I mean? Presidents had that same speech.
Right.
It's still the same.
And how many gangs are listening to laws? I mean, how many drug dealers are listening to laws? How many? I mean, it's just like impossible to tell people what to do also and expect them all to listen. And like,
right.
I don't know.
That comes from the lack of maturity, bro. Us as a people.
Right.
Us as a people, we're not mature.
Accountability.
We're not smart. We have no accountability. It's just like, I feel like that's what black people problems are, bro. Every leader, every group we have that stands up for our people and is like, all right, we're going to put this stepping stone down for our people.
Gets killed off
Either by the government, either by our own people, or nobody stands with them, bro.
Right.
Maybe in the past, like with Martin Luther and Malcolm X, they had really big movements, but now currently, bro, like we don't really stand with each other, bro. And if you don't stand with each other, you're always gonna fall.
Well, and what's crazy though is a lot of with Martin Luther and Malcolm, like there was like that was what was popping, is having all black groups chasing rights.
Facts.
However, a lot of them got corrupted from the inside.
Facts.
I mean, I'm guessing because the government probably planted moles, but a lot of them got corrupted from the inside, never had shit in their life, and then they started getting drugs, and then all those political parties turned into gangs. Facts. You know, Blackstone Rangers, perfect fucking example of that. I mean, I believe later on they even changed their name to like Black Peace Stone Rangers or some shit like that. It's like BP. Oh, Black Peace Stone Nation, BPSN.
I never heard of them.
They their leader, his name was it was Jeff something, I can't remember, but he started it with a bunch of kids from the orphanage he was in, and then they like started trying to get on the wave with the Black Panthers, but then they started selling drugs, they started racketeering, they started, having prostitution rings and then blah blah blah. And it was like a lot of him being really about that shit, and I don't think he ever got everybody else on the same page. Cause he was like he met with like Louis Farrakhan and he met with like other people high up in those groups, but it was like the rest of them were with it. I don't know if he was even all the way with it. He might have. I don't know him. I don't know his life.
Right.
Really.
I feel you.
I think he's maybe still alive or died recently, actually, because he was in prison for like years, and his right hand man also like prison for. I think his right hand man died in prison. They put them away in like the 80s though.
That's crazy.
And I mean, it was like there's so many stories that are like that. I mean, the Crips started like that.
Facts.
Police and the police. That's what the Crips were. That's what the Black Panthers, same thing. Police and the police. And then they started getting painted as these terrorists, and it's like, it's so easy to tear down. It's like they started tearing down these outer walls, and then people start focusing on the outer walls, and they don't focus on the internals.
Right.
And it's like it all starts going crazy. It starts going hectic.
Exactly.
They lose focus.
And then you have to take into account all the things that they're being subjected to.
Right.
Poverty.
Right.
Gun and liquor stores on every corner.
Right.
There's no fucking housing, bro. Like you got these small ass neighborhoods.
I mean, even proper grocery.
Police.
I mean, they say, it's like some crazy percent. It's like 80% or some shit. 80% of poor neighborhoods, or people in poor neighborhoods, especially in the hoods and the ghettos, go to Family Dollar for their shopping, for the majority of their shopping. Family Dollar sells nothing healthy. Family Dollar sells everything processed. Everything's cheap, but it's not really cheaper than making your own meals. It's like honey buns, it's like chips. It's like shit that doesn't have any longevity to it. Microwave meals. And that's all people eat every day. And then it's like low key. It seems more tangible because you're getting the food, you're eating the food. It's cheap, but you're really spending more money because you just keep buying it.
Right.
Or they're buying like ramen noodles and it's just killing you off before you even hit 50.
Right.
And it's like, what's the point? And I mean, I grew up eating that shit.
Facts.
And it was like, not good for me.
At all.
I'm not tall, bro. And I think that's why.
That's definitely why.
Yeah.
If you want to be tall, don't eat ramen noodles.
Don't eat ramen noodles.
And
if you don't want heart problems, don't eat ramen noodles.
Right. If you want your third eye to be open, don't eat it.
Bro, fucking low-key, like, boycott dollar stores. Straight up.
Boycott that shit. Boycott anything that sell bro, people are so pussy, bro. People are so pussy. Nigga, boycott, bro. Boycott everything. This is what you gotta do with gas. Niggas keep crying about gas, right? And I'm sorry. Now I'm on my little turn up shit. Niggas talking about gas, bro. Don't buy gas. If everybody just had the balls, they'd be like, we're not gonna buy gas for a week. Bro, if you stop purchasing shit from a company, if everybody stop purchasing stuff from a company, they have no business. No money is coming in. They have to cater to you.
Right.
And that's why people need to get on their shit.
The thing is, like, people, though, they hear that and they're like,
I have a job. Bro, fuck your job, bro.
Right.
That you making minimum wage at. Or even if you ain't making minimum wage, you're making a couple dollars more than minimum wage. Bro, fuck that job,
don't
bro.
have benefits. If you do have benefits,
You definitely don't have benefits.
You went to college. And if you had benefits, let's say you work in an office,
Right.
you can work from home at so many places.
Facts.
And
That's
it's
what I'm
like,
gonna do.
even that, bro, like literally though, people, and that's the thing though, is that job is like such a tie to this world too. And it's like, if you wanna boycott, all right, everybody save your fucking money.
Right.
Save your money up. Quit going to Family Dollar. Quit going to these foolish places. I know saving money is hard, especially if you got kids.
Hell yeah.
Saving money is almost damn near impossible once you got kids.
Hell yeah.
But just save your fucking money as much as you can. Even if it's like, you save $500, right?
Right.
Bro, save $500, quit buying gas for a week, and you're straight. And if you lose that job, get another job. You should really be telling your bosses to boycott with you.
Exactly. That's why I say people got no accountability. Niggas need to stand up on their shit. Niggas want a perfect world, but they don't want to work for it, bro.
They don't.
They don't want to go through the hardships.
They don't.
They want to cry about gas, but nobody's willing to boycott, bro. If you lose a job, nigga, go get another one.
Is that job more important than the future of your life in your country?
It is.
That's what they tell you.
For them.
Yeah.
And they tell you that. You're right.
And motherfuckers too will be. What's funny is motherfuckers will lose their job, go through jobs every single week, and still be worried about losing a job.
Facts. Bro, I don't give a fuck about losing a job. You know what I mean? Jobs I walked away from and not saying nothing. But the last one I was at, bro, I ain't say shit. I just left. We got to talk about that more off mic. Because I was going to tell you why I ultimately decided to do that. But, yeah, bro, like, everybody want a perfect world, but they don't want to work for it. Everybody want to talk about police brutality, but nobody does anything about it. Like,
Nobody shoots the police, bro.
I'm not in.
The Black Panthers were shooting the fucking police. They didn't give a fuck. Bro.
Now, what I'm not gonna do is incite violence.
That's true.
I'm not broadcasting that to the world.
That's true. That's true. But people will be talking a big game. People will be like, "Oh, I fucking hate cops. I'll kill this cop."
And do nothing.
No, you won't do shit.
You're not gonna do shit, bro. You
won't even go up to that cop to their face, tell them "fuck you," and then walk away. Like,
you know what we've been programmed to do, bro? We've been programmed
to let it go
and record it, bro. It's more likely if I was on the street right now getting choked out by a police officer and I've done nothing wrong, I'm more likely to have somebody sit there and film me die versus
beat the fuck out of the cop
beating the fuck out of the cop, bro. Like this, you see this man's creating it. He's doing an injustice, bro. Mm-hmm. He's beating my brains in. I ain't do shit.
If you run up on him and he shoots you, I mean, you'll die or you'll get wounded. And I understand. And most people aren't at peace with death. But if you are at peace with death and you run up and try to help somebody and you die, it's just going to make them more accountable. It's going to have to make them hold even more of a defense up.
At this point, bro, fuck death. Where's the respect, bro? Honestly.
Right.
You complain about police brutality, but you won't do anything about it.
Right.
You have to be willing to die. You got to be willing to get your ass beat. You got to be willing to get thrown in jail.
Right.
You have to be willing to take those steps. You got to be willing to take those steps, get fired for not fucking getting gas for a week, so you can't drive your car, so you get fired. You have to take those risks, because you know what happens if you don't take those risks? They continue to walk over you. Mm-hmm. Oh, these niggas desperate, bro. This nigga, I know this nigga is 9 to 5. He ain't finna stop buying gas for a week. He got to go to work. He got 2 kids. He on child support. Nigga, he getting that gas and he going to work. You know what I'm saying? But people have to, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have more self-respect. I'm going to do my thing. Because they'll have to respect you, bro. These companies only prosper because we allow them to prosper, bro. Even like celebrities.
Exactly.
People worship celebrities, bro. Like, they're these fucking gods, bro. And even if they are quote-unquote gods, they're gods because we make them that.
Right.
We perceive them that way, so that's what they are. All these big-ass companies that run the world, they run the world because we perceive it that way.
Most of them aren't shit, really, because...
They're not. Without us, they're not shit.
Right. And we uplift them because, in our eyes, the image they project is the ideal person we want to be.
Exactly.
And it's not... They're not really like that. They probably got a longing for some other celebrity or even regular person, maybe, that is who they want to be.
Right. Facts.
Instead of looking for a hero, be your own hero.
And have more self-respect for yourself, people. Whoever listening to this that need to hear this, have more self-respect for yourself. You shouldn't view a motherfucker who got $1 million in his bank account as I want to be that guy, because for one, you don't know what type of nigga he is. You don't know what he did to get that $1 million. And even if he did get that $1 million, do you really want to be that person? Like, our goals are so materialistic that, like, we stay, like, on this fucking animalistic plane, bro. Like, we only care about money. We only care about cars. If you don't have this, you're not shit. Whoop-de-wop. Want to be somebody that has integrity, bro.
J. Cole said
Want to be somebody who fucking actually for the people. Be somebody who wants to, you know.
Bro, J. Cole said it best. He said, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was pretty much, I'm so happy because I know that whatever I miss wasn't meant for me. And whatever was meant for me, I won't miss it.
I just seen that too. I like that.
And I mean, it's truthful. Like, and even if it's not truthful, even if it's like some wishful thinking shit, who the fuck cares? Like, that's he's has a happier life because of it. He moves forward and progresses because of it.
Exactly.
Obviously, there's some situations where you should be more vigilant of, you know, like I said, especially when it comes to families, especially when it comes to like you're treating yourself a certain way, living a certain way, like, you know, don't use that as an excuse to not get out of bed. Don't use
Right.
that as an excuse to not get a job you might need at the time.
Right.
But also, like, realize that if it happens, there's no use crying over spilt milk. I mean, move on.
Exactly. And everything wasn't meant for everybody, bro. I feel like everybody was born to walk their own path.
Right.
Everybody
Facts.
isn't gonna be Kendrick. Everybody
people
ain't gonna
aren't
be
gonna-
Michael Jordan. Everybody, bro. Just like how there's people that's not meant to be a rapper. There's people who's not meant to be doctors, bro. Like
Right. Everybody wants to be a rapper.
it's how you and
Bro.
you know why? Because the materialistic
Right.
things. We're
It's
so
pushed.
controlled by materialism.
Bro, and I can tell so many of you, you were not meant to be a rapper. I can tell by what you're putting out.
Put the mic down.
Put the mic
Stick to your
down.
day job, my nigga. You know?
Not even to insult you. If you want to do music for fun, do it for fun.
For
if
sure.
you want to do music, even to try to turn a profit, all right, do it.
And I ain't
Have
got no
a
problem
backup
with that.
plan,
Get your
bro, if
money,
you
my
aren't
nigga.
good, bro. Like,
Nah, for sure.
if
For
you're
sure.
making money too, like, I mean, I can't hate them because it's like, bro, that's a way better path than a 9 to 5.
Facts.
But also, you're saturating the market. You're the problem, like, in a way. You become the problem for artists who really have a voice and are trying to change the
Bro.
planet to get saturated. Like,
The problem
to get pushed
is society, bro. All these artists are the way they are. They make the music the way they make because that's what society is. They put that whole big ass stigma on thug rap and gangster rap and all that shit. Bro, if I go out my door and all I see is fucking gunshots, police brutality, rape, and drugs, bro, what the fuck do you think I'm gonna talk about?
Right.
So I can't blame those niggas. Get your money. If you're getting your money rapping, get your money. But, you know, most of y'all gotta stick to your day job, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can't be the Dragonfly cutter.
All right.
And that's the podcast, you little bitches. My name's Soul. Got my motherfucking boy Dante the Scribe. This is the Dragonfly Cutter podcast. Thank you for tuning in for our first episode. We know it probably wasn't the best, but suck my dick or your bitch can, and we'll catch you later.